A very good afternoon to our valued guests, and welcome back to the second part of the SP Engineering Show 2022. The Singapore Polytechnic Engineering Showcase Webinar 2022 is proudly put together by the SP Engineering Show Committee. I'm Nur Azhar.
And I'm Kelly. Together, we will be your hosts for this event today.
In this second day project showcase, we will continue to showcase the STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics solutions developed by our students. The project showcase arrangement will be similar to yesterday. The presentation will start off with a project introduction video, followed by a sharing session by the project teams. Without further ado, let me start off with the project showcase segment for today's program. There are altogether 5 projects that will be shown to you. You could text your question in the Zoom Q&A tab.
Before we start, we would like to share that there will be 2 short quizzes, one midway and the other at the end of today's program. Prizes will be awarded to the first 2 submissions with correct answers for each quiz session. So stay tuned. The questions related to the projects will be presented to you during the quiz time.
The project lineup for you today is entitled Design and Develop a Portable Train Driving Simulator. The student presenters are Muhammad Hakim and Swati. Let us enjoy the video now.
With a growing rail network, greater emphasis is placed on competency-based training to ensure high level of service reliability. Traditionally, training is performed at centralized training facilities at predetermined slots, which may pose challenges in manpower scheduling. The COVID-19 pandemic has also greatly affected training frequency, duration, and quality of training. With the concept of train anytime, train anywhere, we have designed a train driving simulator that is cost-effective, portable, and capable of reproducing high degree of immersion in a controlled environment. The innovation of our project is centered on systems portability, enabling quick deployment at crew points located at selected stations. This allows easy accessibility for staff to hone their skills through self-directed learning.
Through various discussions and engagements with stakeholders, the team was able to perceive the required functionalities and features of the simulator, which includes train driving and fault handling scenarios. As the simulator was built from ground up, research was required to design and develop its software and hardware.
Firstly, a 3D virtual mock-up of the functional components of the train console was developed using Autodesk Inventor. This ensures realism as proper relative position of the different components is replicated before the physical build-up of the train console. Electrical wiring diagrams were also created for the wiring system of the machine. In-depth research was made to realize the required electrical components used on the train console. Once the machine was built, simulator scenarios were created, with the integration of hardware and software. The outcome of this project is for our train driving simulator to replicate different scenarios through the simulator to allow staff to develop and maintain the required competency.
Thank you for the wonderful video presentation. Welcome, Hakim. Welcome, Swati. I can see that you have an interesting project with you. Can I just start off with what is the objective of your project?
So, with a growing rail network, greater emphasis is placed on competency-based training to ensure high level of service reliability. Traditionally, training is performed at a centralized training facility at predetermined slots, which may pose challenges in manpower scheduling. The COVID-19 situation has also created a very bad effect to the training frequency, duration, and the quality of the training. But with our concept of train anytime, train anywhere, we have designed and developed a train driving simulator that is portable, cost-effective, and also capable of reproducing high degree of immersion in a controlled environment.
Okay, thanks, Hakim.
Thank you. It sounds like a great project. So who exactly does this project benefit?
The project benefits the train operators as they help us. As it gives them easy accessibility for them to hone their skill through self-directed learning. Our simulator is also able to replicate different scenarios through the simulator to further develop the staff's competency, to further develop the competency that is required.
Okay, that's nice because I can see there's a lot area of application. Can you just name some of the area of application that we can use for your project?
Our train driving simulator is able to replicate the required functionalities and features of a real train, so which includes the train driving and fault handling scenarios. So an example of a train driving scenario is that with the simulator, the train operator can drive the train from one station to another station.
Oh, nice. Okay, I understand that your project is it takes a bit of time for you to complete your project. So is there any challenges that you face during the whole duration of executing the project?
Yes, there's actually a few challenges, but I'll be going through the two major challenges faced by our group. So firstly, as we are students in mechanical engineering, we were not really taught programming in our curriculum. So we had to do a lot of in-depth research in order to integrate our hardware to our software to create a realistic simulator environment for our simulator.
Oh, okay.
So could you also tell us what makes your project so special and how has it changed the processes in the current industry?
The innovation of our project is centered around the system's portability. So it enables quick deployment at selected stations. That's why it's to develop a portable system. So this way, staffs are able to hone their skills through self-directed learning. Because currently, their training is located at one centralized location, face-to-face. So this way, it affects their schedules with their other work. So with the system being portable, staffs do not have to gather at one location, whereby they can just go to any selected station where the system is to have their training. So this way, scheduling issues can also be avoided.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you a more practical question. Will your system be able to use in a real SMRT system?
Yes, the system will be able to be used in the SMRT system. But since our project is very wide, we have broken it down into different stages.
Right.
So currently our system in its second stage, which is for us to further improve by adding different scenarios and more features for us to give to the staff themselves to use.
Okay, nice.
So we have one last question, and somebody wants to know, do you need to be good at computer programming to be able to do well for this project?
Our programming uses a lot of our project uses a lot of programming because we need to integrate the hardware with the software. So basically, we have learned C++ programming in year 1. So with that, we were able to learn more other languages more quickly because our project just doesn't require C++, but also C# and Python programming languages. So with this, we were able to learn new programming languages more quickly. And also because our team believes that no matter how hard things can get, if we were to set our mind properly and our goals properly, we can achieve whatever goals we have at the end of the day.
That's a nice saying. Thank you. I have one personal question for myself. Are you able to tell me how much is the total cost to put all these things together? I'm not sure whether it's confidential or not.
Unfortunately, it's actually confidential.
Oh, okay.
But we have confirmed with the staff there and with the current simulator that they have, is confirmed that ours is more cost effective.
I see. Do you have any idea which one is the most expensive equipment that's inside your system?
To be honest, I would say it's the group members' time.
Oh, is it?
But at the same time, also there's other components to the simulator that we build up. So basically, the PC I think holds up a more expensive component of the system.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Team 1. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Hakim, for the presentation and replies. The second project is entitled Smart Technology for Workplace Wellness. The student presenters are Karin, Ang, and Sehoy. Let us enjoy the video now.
Next to our home, the office is a place where we spend most of our time. A conducive and healthy working environment that ensures our wellness and work productivity is of utmost importance, especially during these pandemic times. How do you like working in an office that boasts smart technologies that can monitor and assure air quality, boost up your energy levels, add to your mental wellness, and enhance your overall productivity at work. Let us walk you through the features of a smart office. Let's begin with what we call the Smart Environment Control System that has a digital twin capability to improve the performance of our smart office system. The digital twin is a powerful virtual reality tool to monitor IoT sensors, verify the operation of IoT actuators, and make simulations for optimal facility operation. What the Smart Environment Control System does is it monitors the key environmental data using the IoT sensors and execute corrective action to poor air quality caused by low humidity, high dust content, and carbon dioxide levels. In an air-conditioned environment, dry air caused by the low humidity can cause throat irritation. When the humidity is too low, the humidifier will be turned on automatically. The air in an office can also have high dust levels, which can contribute to nasal discomfort, causing one to sneeze, as well as chronic heart and lung conditions. In this case, an air cleaner is automatically turned on, triggered by high PM2.5 or PM10 dust content. High carbon dioxide levels in the office can induce sleepiness. When a high CO2 level is detected, window will open automatically to let in fresh air. With this improved air quality, a worker will no longer be lethargic. In fact, they could take a rest or go off for some exercise. Over all this, you don't have to worry about the high power consumption, as our smart office also have a smart capability to monitor and optimize energy usage. Hence, no more worries about the high energy consumption. So let's share with you the next smart energy monitoring features of this project.
This is a miniature smart gauge MSG developed by Singapore Polytechnic. With this gauge, power consumption data is collected and sent to a cloud. By analyzing this data, it can generate real-time alerts automatically when an abnormal event is detected. This project has been an eye-opening experience for us. We are proud to have completed a highly smart capable system. It has been an excellent learning experience for us to have acquired a broad-based range of knowledge and skills in using smart technologies for solving real-world problems.
Thank you for the wonderful project video. I can see the project can be used in many areas of our either domestic or office. So allow me to start the first question. How do we measure the CO2 and dust level with the IoT tube?
Thank you for the question. So the CO2 and dust levels are measured using the sensors, which we got it from the Amphenol Advanced Sensors, which is one of the leading innovators in advanced sensing technologies and innovative embedded measurement solutions. So for our IoT cube, we actually program it so that it can actually measure the CO2 and dust level itself.
Right.
So this IoT cube seems to be quite unknown to a lot of people. So could you also share with us what is the power supply needed to operate your IoT cube?
So our IoT cube is operated using the 5V DC outlet, which we can usually find it from the USB port of a laptop, PC, or charger. Yeah, so to provide a real-time update to the climate control system. So for the IoT cube itself, we designed it such that it can actually use it. It is very convenient and easy for users to actually use it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I also maybe know how do we control the opening and the closing of the window by using the air quality sensor?
Okay, so for to control the window itself, our air quality sensor and the window actuator is Wi-Fi enabled, and it is connected to our office Wi-Fi. Through the Wi-Fi, for the air quality sensor, we can send the appropriate command to the window actuator for appropriate actions to be taken. So, for example, if the air quality sensor detects an increase in CO2,
yes,
it will actually send a signal or send a command to the window actuator to open the windows automatically.
Oh, nice. I can see that I can use that at home probably, right?
Yes, okay, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So how does this project of yours, how does it determine whether or not an equipment is faulty or that it needs maintenance by using your miniature smart gauge?
Okay, I will take over this question. the power consumption of every equipment has a certain pattern. For example, the maximum power, the minimum power, the change of current with time, and so on. The system uses these parameters to see that the equipment is operating normally and efficiently. Okay, the miniature smart gauge has power sockets that supply power to electrical appliances. At the same time, it will collect the data of the equipment for the software to identify the power consumption pattern. For normal operating condition, average of the parameters is 100%. If significant deviation from the normal pattern is detected, which is 10% of deviation, it usually means something wrong. For example, if by an average power of an equipment is 100 watt, if for whatever reason its average power increased to 120 watt, which is 20% of deviation from the normal pattern.
Yes.
So we know it is usually something wrong. So we will generate a warning message with the data and send to relevant maintenance personnel. And currently, our warning message is sent via the email. Thank you.
Oh, that's a smart device instead. Okay, I think the next question is more closer to our heart, right? Because it regards to the energy saving. So how do your IoT cube with air quality sensor and miniature smart gauge contribute to energy saving?
Okay, an electrical appliance consumes energy even if it's operate in sleeping mode. So we use the IoT cube to monitor the environmental condition of the office and activate the electrical appliance only when necessary. The miniature smart gauge can detect the situation of overall power consumption and activate preventive maintenance to avoid energy waste. For example, the air quality sensor is able to measure dust level in the workplace. If dust level has been reduced to healthy level by resident air cleaners, they can be automatically switched off over Wi-Fi. The miniature smart gauge can then verify that they have been switched off, so as to prevent wastage of electricity. And the humidity sensor works in the same way as the air quality sensor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So this project seems to be very useful all around. Can this project also be used in a home setting or only in the office?
Yes, this project can obviously be used at home because as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, it will be possible to use these devices at home, especially for example, like the windows, the humidifier or the air cleaner, you can actually find at home. So I can say that it's pretty easy to use at home. So for our future development, we can actually have an instruction manual for the users on how to install them at home for easier reference.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Now, just a question for me again. Does this project warn the user if the room air quality is bad? And how is it warned?
Well, I can say that currently we do not have this feature because our main focus is on the digital twin development. But for our future development of this project, we will actually develop the notification system using the SMS or the email message to warn the users about the changes in the air quality. Yes.
Okay, another personal question from me, because currently I have another project. Students are doing something similar with your project. So can I ask, are the IoT devices able to use dual band, 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, or just one? Because I have this problem currently in my project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So currently our project we uses the 2.4 gigahertz instead of the 5 gigahertz because one of the main reasons between the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz is the coverage. So for 2.4 gigahertz, it has a wider coverage compared to the 5 gigahertz.
Okay.
Yes. So since our sensors are placed like for our project, we place it at the EEE office. It's like quite a lot of sensors in the EEE office. So we require a higher,
Wider coverage.
Yes, the wider coverage, which is the 2.4 gigahertz
Okay.
one. Yes.
Just last one from myself. Nowadays we have information right at our fingertips, right? So for your system, are we able to access those information via any mobile devices?
Well, I can say that currently our project we only uses the Windows system.
Okay.
I mean, like we can actually play this digital twin at the desktop as a desktop app.
Right.
So in the future, we will actually develop like it covers a more can say that it covers more. For example, we can use it in Android or iOS, or this is one of the possible expansion for this project.
Oh, nice,
Yes,
thank you.
thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Team 2, for the excellent presentation and replies. The third project is entitled ISO 9001 Quality Management System. The student presenters are Derek Lim and Pin Cheng. Let's watch our video now.
For our project, we helped the client company develop a fully digitalized quality management system for ISO consultancy, ISO being the International Organization for Standardization. It is a worldwide federation of national standards bodies comprising of standards bodies from more than 160 countries, with one standard body representing each member country. Having an ISO 9001 standard ensures high quality service delivered from companies to customers. A fully digital management system to apply for the standard will be developed to replace the existing manual and operational workflow.
We were tasked to improve on a current outdated paper system that our client company is using. There are three primary issues with the current system that the company is employing. Firstly, consultants spend a lot of time on mundane tasks. Secondly, the current business workflow is outdated, further impeding the flow of business, causing errors in addition, transposition of figures, incorrect recording of transaction, and incomplete recordings of transaction are all common mistakes. Lastly, the lack of a database to capture all interactions across various teams lead to a lack of transparency and traceability in the organization's sales pipeline.
For the process, as we already knew what we were supposed to do, the main concern was how we were going to develop the system. Firstly, we needed to wear the hat of a user and think from the user's perspective how the entire system flow will go. Secondly, we needed to understand from a user's point of view how easy it is to navigate the entire system. Lastly, we also needed to consider what features will be needed to implement into our system.
For example, for the SWOT table, in the past, consultants had to manually write down the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats and calculate the SWOT analysis manually. But for our quality management system, this was not the case as the calculation was done digitally.
In terms of technology, we use the MERN stack for our system, which is MongoDB, ExpressJS, React.js, and Node.js. But instead of MongoDB, we opt to use MySQL for the database. We use this stack as it is widely used by companies across the region.
The project benefits all from the client company to the customers of the client's company. As this project aims to improve the efficiency of the ISO 9001 consulting process, more companies will be able to get consulted on the ISO certification process, and the time spent for the consultancy is also greatly reduced. Truly a win-win project.
Thank you for the wonderful project video. I know that ISO 9001 are widely used in a lot of industries. So allow me to start my first question. Can I know what is the project objective?
Well, the project objective is to simply digitalize the current ISO 9001 auditing process. Because the ISO 9001 is a quality management system, a lot of data is being passed around, and the old paper system can get quite confusing and is easily messed up. Henceforth, using a digitalized system will make this process a lot more simple and makes it a lot more efficient.
So what are some of the areas of applications that your project can be used for?
Right, so I think that's a very good, really great question. So the ISO 9001 family is actually applicable to any organization, big or small, as well as any industry, whether be it like you're in the F&B sector, industrial sector, or service sector. So the ISO 9001 family basically encourages these practices, which helps organization to organize the processes, improve the efficiency of processes, and to ensure continual improvement of these processes. So in actuality, there's 160 countries and 101 million companies that are actually adopting these ISO 9001 processes. So I think you guys can see the scope of the project that we are building on is actually pretty huge as well as pretty large.
I totally agree with you. It's pretty huge. There's a lot of area that you can cover. So can I just my next question, it comes in two parts, right? First is, what is the benefit of your project to the community? Second part is, who does the project benefit?
For this question, we can actually combine both answers. Well, the main aim of the project is to help both the consulting firm, in this case, the client company we're working with is Associates Consulting, and then also to help the client companies. So the companies who approach Associates Consulting for help when it comes to the auditing process. Having a digitalized system, it will make the entire flow of the auditing process a lot easier. As before, some companies could take up from 2 months to even 6 months just to complete the auditing process, as papers could get lost, documents could get dirtied or whatever not, or sometimes there's a lot of back and forth in between. So having a digitalized system would streamline this process, makes communication a lot easier, and hence allow companies to gain their ISO 9001 certification better.
I agree with you, totally agree, yes.
So could you also share with us what are some of the unique features of your project?
All right, sure. So I think the most unique feature of our app, right, is that we are able to cut costs significantly for the client's company.
Right.
So because we are working with a consultancy, they're able to point out like the pain points during the consulting or auditing process. So for example, when you have to go through the auditing process, you have to retrieve this manual and hard copy historical data and to produce the evidences of it. And to add on, these evidences can be damaged by the environment, so it can get wet or it can be damaged. So a large majority of the time is actually to retrieve these documents, and as such, this raises costs for the client's company. So as our system is really digitalized, we are able to just reproduce the results at a whim. So during the auditing process, we can just retrieve the data from the database and display on the front end. And in addition, we also have a notification system. So as it's a quality management system, we are able to remind the users to upload whether they have any like relevant training records available, or perhaps items that they are responsible for.
Okay.
So I think these are the key features that have made us really, really unique.
Right, thank you very much. I understand that this project is tedious and daunting, and it takes a lot of effort. So is there any challenges that you face throughout executing this project?
Definitely. So there's actually two main challenges we faced. One is our lack of experience as a technical team, and the other is the lack of experience of ISO. So we were actually a team of year 2 students, and we still currently are. And when we embarked on this project, it was actually the start of year 2. We were fresh off from year 1. So we had to be quick to adapt, to learn of all the professional standards that most developers use, as well as the most up-to-date libraries and technologies, so that we can produce an industry-ready project that is safe and available to use for everyone. The next problem we faced was our lack of understanding of the ISO process. Because none of us actually own an organization or have been through the certification process before. We had to do intensive amounts of research to have a better understanding of how the auditing flow is like. So we did things such as consulting the consulting firm, approaching some of the consultants and asking them how their usual flow would be like, or even doing a bit of research online to have a better understanding of the meaning of each clauses in the ISO 9001 auditing and why it's needed and how it is done.
Okay, nice.
So as you mentioned, a digitalized process can really save a lot of time. But how much time can it actually save in terms of getting the certification when it compares to the conventional way?
Well, I will give it conservatively like a percentage amount of maybe like 10 to 20%. So as previously mentioned, the traditional way is full of hard copies as well as like manual paperwork. However, with our digitalized system, we're able to retrieve all these like past historical data or evidence findings such as like the user's training records, let's say their maintenance that they're responsible for, or license or permits of registrars. So through this or through our system, we're able to just like reproduce this data quickly or retrieve this data quickly to cut down on this long process of time spent to just retrieve the documents for the audition or auditing process.
Right, okay. Myself, I think I am not really an ISO guy, so maybe can you just explain to us what is ISO quality management system?
So to briefly explain, most companies actually wish to aim to get like a ISO certification, as it shows that their company has a level of management standard. having this kind of certification can bring a larger audience to the company as they produce a more quality product. And having a management system allows them to manage a lot of their various documentations. For example, my friend Vincent has talked about some of the registers and licenses and permits. For example, some of you may be like an employee in a company and you need to be like a driver. So of course you need to have a driving license to be a driver. This sort of documentation is needed, is very important, but at the same time, it can be easily lost. Hence, having a digitalized system will improve this.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Someone would also like to know what kind of software is used for your management system and what OS system will be compatible with your management system?
All right. So I think the direction that we're heading for is towards PGA or Progressive Web App. So our entire application is actually can be accessed through the internet. So we have built our system around that. And for this, our technology involved, we have used the MERN stack, but instead of MongoDB, we actually use MySQL. So to expand on what the MERN stack is actually just a framework or a structure that we use. So for the front end, we use React, whereas for the back end, we use Express, and for the database, we use MySQL as previously mentioned upon. Yep.
Okay, thank you. I guess ISO 9000 relates to everyone, and then what happened is I have one more question for you regarding auditing, right? So the question is, in case of auditing, can human use the automatic operations on the system Midway to verify their data?
If for this case, well, yes, of course, humans can actually check their own data to make sure whether it's okay. So if you think about it, this entire system is a collection of forms in a data-intensive amount of forms. So when a user wants to use a system, they're actually just filling in a bunch of forms or maybe uploading some files. So if you want to check, you can actually check what kind of files they're uploading first of all. So let's say uploading image, you can check for the data type or the file type and all these sorts of things. And because all of our information is actually stored in a database, there will be like an admin dashboard in a sense to help you collate and check for the data and to see if there's any like breach in security. We also implemented some security functionalities such as validation and authentication to make sure no illegal scripts enter our system.
Okay.
We have one last question from me. Can humans really manually verify their data in quality management systems Midway instead of letting the process automatically run?
So basically what they want to know is you have your system running, can you just halfway through check the process?
To check the process, I would like to believe that our system is actually just like a software or an app that allows you to track all the documents or all the training requests or any files that have already been uploaded. So we will suppose that you are able to reference or see the previous records or the current records. So you're able to make a more informed decision. So one example will be, for ISO 9001, we actually have one functionality or one feature that is actually essential for any organization, which is the SWOT analysis. So for this, the SWOT analysis has to be updated every 9 months.
Right.
So during the process, any users or any employees of the client's company can actually just edit their strategic thinking or to update what are their key direction towards the future.
Thank you. Now, just one personal question. I love to ask personal questions. Now, based on my many years of experience, whenever we heard ISO, we are a bit afraid because it involves a lot of paperwork, right? So was it tedious to get all the physical paperwork together, or is there any physical paperwork available?
Well, I mean, since we're in like a digital age, we didn't receive a lot of physical paperwork.
Yeah, I guess I'm a dinosaur. Okay, done.
But in a sense, we actually did receive a lot of the online documentation. Right. So maybe they came in like the form of a PDF or like a Word document. And because for ISO 9001, there's like up to 10 clauses, there's a lot of documentation we had to actually sift through. We had to consult the client company we're working with, constantly going back and forth, trying to retrieve all the documentation and then compile them together. Afterwards, we had to change this sort of paper-based form into something that is more easily accessible on a UI standpoint online on the system itself.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad now everything is digitized. takes away a lot of pain. All right, thank you, Team 3, for the presentation and replies. Now is the time for the quiz in the Zoom poll. There are 3 questions related to the projects presented earlier. Prizes will be given to the first 2 submissions with the correct answers. Good luck, everyone. The 4th project is entitled Cloud-Based Wastewater Sampler Control Monitor and Alert System. The student presenters are Yong Chun and Pip Hui. Let us enjoy the video now.
The scope of the project is to build a proof of concept cloud-based wastewater sampling, monitoring and alert system, which consists of hardware, remote terminal units, and the cloud supervisory control and data acquisition system. This system is being developed for controlling and monitoring wastewater samplers via an online dashboard, interfacing wirelessly with remote terminal units using a cellular network. Currently, users are not able to inspect live data, and they are unable to know whether the collection water is successful. They are also unable to know the status of the sampler, like whether is it running, faulty, or in maintenance mode. By identifying this problem, we were able to brainstorm more focused ideas for solutions. We then decided that a website that can show the status of the sampler, registering a new controller, displaying of live data, and a backend server that is able to send out email alerts will be able to attend each problem of the system.
Connection between sampler and server using MQTT, which is a protocol that acts as a broker to transmit and receive data from clients and subscribers. The controller is thus able to send data to the server via this protocol online without having to be physically on-site. By using MQTT, data login to database is implemented. This will allow the server to retrieve data from the database and display it on the dashboard to allow users to inspect live data. Email alerts were also added to the system. When the sampler is faulty or the battery level is low, the sampler's controller will send this data to MySQL database via MQTT. From there, the server will retrieve the timing the data is sent and which sampler is affected. The details are then sent to the user via email. An AI chatbot was developed to ease users' trouble in navigating through the page. When users enter a specific keyword such as status, maintenance, or location, the chatbot will automatically retrieve data from the database and display it to the user. With this POC system, the distributed samplers can be managed remotely from the dashboard, supervise the live data from each sampler, and receive alerts upon abnormal conditions such as low battery voltage, system errors, and network failure. Ultimately, these will benefit end users such as engineers, technicians, and government agencies.
Thank you for the wonderful project video. Welcome, Pip Hui. Welcome, Yong Chun. Allow me to start with the first question. Now, can you just maybe let us know what is the scope of your project?
All right, thank you for the question. So the scope of this project is actually to build a proof of concept cloud-based wastewater sampling, monitoring, and alerting system, which consists of the remote terminal units, also known as DRTOs, which is the hardware, as well as the cloud supervisory control and data acquisitions, also known as SCADA system. This system is being developed to allow end users to monitor and control the wastewater samplers via online dashboard interfacing wirelessly with the remote terminal units using cellular network.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So with your project, what is the issue or the problem that you're trying to solve here?
Okay. The problem I'm trying to solve is actually the users are not able to inspect live data such as the battery voltage reading as well as the temperature reading of the sampler, and they are also unable to know whether the collection water is successful or the sampler status, whether is it in running, faulty, or maintenance mode. And for example, if one of the sampler is faulty and the user might not be aware, so that the sampler won't collect the water, so then there will be missing information. And right now, government is trying to identify COVID-19 cluster through collecting wastewater and inspect it. So this system allows the inspection of live data as well as tracking the sample status, which makes the process of collecting wastewater a lot easier.
Yeah, totally agree with you. There's a lot of use in your project. So what are the processes that get you into this solution?
So firstly, we gather the problems or the issues, such as users are unable to know whether
whether the wastewater is collected successfully, or the status of the wastewater sampler, whether is it in running mode, faulty mode, or maintenance mode. Apart from that, they are also unable to inspect live data from the wastewater sampler itself. So after gathering all these problems or issues, my teammates and I, we started brainstorming on the solutions to attend to these problems. Such solutions can be data transferring from the remote terminal unit to the database, as well as protocols to be used for the communication between the remote terminal unit and the cloud system. And lastly, a possible alert system that is able to send notifications to the users upon errors. So after brainstorming and several discussions, as a team, we decided that online dashboard that's able to display live data from the wastewater sampler itself, and to register a new controller, or to view the status for the wastewater sampler, as well as a backend server that's able to send alerts, whether be it email or telegram, to the users when there's error.
Oh, thank you very much.
So in your project, was there any new technologies that you guys used or any new innovations?
Some of the innovation ideas that we use includes MQTT, email alerts, and automated chatbot. MQTT, which is a protocol that acts as a broker between the client and subscriber, is used to connect the RTU to the server so that RTU can send data to the server. And by using MQTT, the data logging to database is also implemented, which this allows the server to retrieve data from the database and then display on the dashboard to allow the user to inspect live data. And other than that, email alerts is also added so that when the sampler is faulty or the battery level is low, the sampler's controller will then send the data of a low battery as well as the sampler's ID that is affected to the MySQL database via MQTT. Then from there, the server will then retrieve the timing that the data is sent, and as well as which sampler is affected, to send out the details to the user via email. And last but not least, automated chatbot is also added to ease users' trouble in navigating through the page. So what user only need to key in specific keywords such as maintenance, status, or location. And then the chatbot will then retrieve the relevant information from the database and display it to the user.
Awesome, nice. Now I can see that your project has many benefits, many useful use. So maybe can you just name us who does your project benefit?
So with this proof of concept system, the end users such as engineers, technicians, or government agencies such as NEA will be able to benefit from this system, as they are able to manage the distributed samplers across the island. Apart from that, they can also supervise, monitor, and control the wastewater samplers via the online dashboard. And they can also receive the alerts upon abnormal conditions such as low battery voltage, system errors, or network failures.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm sure that throughout your experience with this project, you guys met with a few challenges. So could you share with us what some of those challenges were?
One of the challenges we faced actually that the learning the different programming languages, as we didn't have a programming background. We need to learn the programming languages such as React.js, Node.js, and Express.js from scratch, which is quite challenging for us. And plus the fact that we don't have any lecture notes given to us, so we need to find the online material and learn step by step, which is why it took us quite some time to get the hang of it. And another challenge we face is actually understanding and decoding the buffer messages that's coming from the hardware RTU. And so after we receive the buffer messages from the hardware, we need to decode it in order to know what to do with the message. So for example, if after we decode the message and we identify the message is battery voltage reading, we then need to store it in the database, then in order to display it to the user. So there are actually a lot of buffer messages that we need to decode and understand. So this is also quite challenging for us and took us a while to finish this part.
I understand. I can feel the pain, But anyway, now can I just also know that is this project fully automated to detect any abnormality or alert the users?
So yes, this project is fully automated because of MQTT. So with MQTT being implemented, the wastewater samplers is able to send data to the cloud every second automatically. And from there, we retrieve the sensor reading values, such as battery, water, or temperature, and compare it to the threshold values, which is a value that the sensor reading cannot exceed or go under, and is set by the end users. So after that, we will log in these details whether the sensor reading is within the threshold values into the database. After comparison and after all the logging, we then extract this data out using a function, which is a feature in Node.js programming called node scheduling, which can allows a set of codes to be called out automatically at the indicated timing stated by the programmers.
Okay, nice. Just for my own, I just want to know, looking forward, I can see that your project can be used in many industries, but looking forward, do you think your project is able to use for domestic, home and offices?
I think that it can be used, but however, it's not like every house or office, more like every building or block. Yes.
Right, okay. Because I believe currently the size of your project is what? How big roughly, the size?
Right now, there are over 300 samplers deployed all over Singapore, and is currently managed by NEA. So in the future, there may be more samplers even deployed. So
okay, nice. Maybe I can use it in our homes in the near future or distant future. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you Team 4 for the excellent presentation and replies. The last project of the day is entitled Virtual Lift Training Proof of Concept. Our student presenters are Tai Liang and Bernard Neo. Let us watch the video now.
Virtual reality and augmented reality are getting more popular these days. The purpose of this project is to implement the use of VR into engineering sector. Therefore, we are developed a proof of concept for VR lift maintenance training that provide learning assistance for trainees in terms of safety and the basic lift maintenance procedures. In engineering industry, there are needs for safer training environments and a more efficient way of training. A safer training environment is needed because trainees are exposed to hazard during normal existing training, for example, mechanical heavy and the moving parts. Assisting training can only cater to a number of staffs a day and must be carried out on site. The VR program will be accessible for training from anywhere. With PC-based VR training, scalability can be done.
Using conceptualizing in the CDIO framework, we brainstormed several initial concepts for the lift training. Ideas include virtual, augmented, mixed reality, and computer-based programs. Through a selection process, we selected the final design to be a hybrid of VR, computer-based program, and this was endorsed by our collaborator. VR allows the user to be fully immersed in a virtual environment with the capability for multiplayer, which means they can learn and practice lift maintenance at their own comfort with supervisors who can guide the trainees. This allows for risk to be minimized, no close contact of personnel due to COVID-19 restriction, simplifies complex real-world problems and also be enjoyable at the same time. The PC-based version is also cost-effective and can be accessed anywhere. The PC program is similar to the VR program, but it requires users to use a screen, keyboard and mouse instead of VR headsets and controllers. Throughout this project, we work closely with our collaborators, engineers and trainers on developing the lift training to ensure the realism of each scenarios.
Overall, we are glad to have taken up this project as it provides us with skills such as Unity programming to prepare us for a smart nation future.
Thank you for the awesome project video. Your project can be seen to be used since we have a lot of high-rise buildings. I can foresee the usefulness of this project in the future. So allow me to start with the first question. What does your project aims to do?
We received the feedback from the engineering industry. They are telling us the new employees, they are lack of the safety knowledge and the product info. For example, they don't know how to use the maintenance tools or don't know how to what's the product info. Then like during they carry on the product, during they carry on for the practice lift maintenance, they don't know what's the working procedures.
Right.
Then, so this project we are aimed to helping the engineering industry to carry on, like help to train their new employees to be more efficiently and safely by using the VR technology.
Okay. Okay.
So where can your project be applied in the real working world?
This form of the VR training can be applied session in any places. Then for our project, we are applying into the lift maintenance with the Fujitech engineering. But please take note, this cannot be fully installed for the physical training. The physical training can be hazardous, but for this, the VR training will help to familiarize before the physical training.
Okay, thanks. My next question comes in two parts. The first part is what is the benefit of your project to the community, and who does this project benefit?
So our project benefits the company by allowing them to upskill their training methods by reducing manpower and reducing costs. So the employees of this company can also benefit from our project, as training will be more fun, enjoyable, and safer as well. So the employees can also learn the necessary information and safety information before the actual training on the physical side.
Good, thank you.
So could you share with us also some of the unique features of this project? What makes it special, and how does it change current processes in your industry?
So the unique features would be the VR technology itself, as we implemented into engineering sector, and also we have two versions from the video, which are the VR version and the PC version.
Okay.
So the VR version would allow users to use the headset and controller to move around inside the virtually simulated world.
Okay.
Whereas the PC version uses a mouse and keyboard. Yeah. Another unique feature would be our model components, as we went down to the actual site, take picture and model them for our project.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Bernard. Can you guys share with us what are the challenges that you guys face while executing this whole project?
So the challenges faced by my group members and I would be the programming skills, as we are needed to pick up a new programming language called C# and explore this programming language. Another issue faced by our group would be the component knowledge in terms of lift maintenance, as this requires us to work closely with the engineers over at Fujitech to deliver our final product.
Okay, thanks, Bernard.
Some audience members will also like to know how much time can actually be saved using your VR method.
Actually, for our program, they have like three part of the work like training. Firstly, they will learning what's the components in the car top machine room and the lift peak. Then one more is going to learn the safety knowledge in the virtual classroom. And for finally, they are going to conduct maintenance procedures, like learning what's the working procedures correctly, then maintenance the lift components. So we can assuming like each part we are conducting on the actual part, we will be assuming around 1 hour.
Yes.
But for now, we are going to conducting the whole, like the three part of the training, we are going to around like 30 minutes. Means we will be reducing around like 70% of the time.
Oh, nice. That's good. Okay, let's talk about dollar and cents. How much does one VR set cost?
So the VR headset for what we use in our project costs around 1,200 Sing dollar. The headset used for our project would be the HTC Vive Cosmos, and it is a wired headset with controllers included.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Now, just one personal question from myself. You see, your system allows the users or the technicians or the engineers to use, right, to be trained before deploying them on site, right? So my question is there any basic knowledge, software knowledge that's required that to operate your VR system?
Thank you for the question. For this one, I think they no need too much for the info. They just like have a basic computer skills, like can open the program. Then inside our program, we'll have like warm up. There we are teaching the user how to operate the program by using the controller headset. Then like how to what's the function buttons. Then inside our program also we'll have a guide arrow and the stunts to guide the users to fully complete the training, the learning package.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's quite a user-friendly software you have there. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tan Liang. Thanks, Bernard. Thank you, Team 5, for the excellent presentation and replies. Now, thank you all presenters for the interesting project sharing. Thank you to all members of the audience for being part of this event. We hope that the project showcases have been exciting learnings for you. Now is the time for the second quiz in the Zoom poll. There are 3 questions related to the projects presented earlier. Prizes will be posted to the first 2 submissions with the correct answers. All winners will be notified by email. Good luck, everybody. Now we have come to the end of the live webinar session and the end of the SP Engineering Show 2022 webinar. We would appreciate if you could provide your feedback by scanning the QR code in the next slide. Have a nice day and have a fantastic weekend ahead. I am Norazha.
And I'm Kelly, and we hope to see you again next year.
Bye-bye.